So man, I just left the barber shop. As y'all can see, your boy cut it off today, you feel me? My wife said she wanted me to cut it off, so I went ahead and took it off, man. I wasn't sold on it at first, but I went ahead and did it. It's like my second time in maybe like a year. And the last time I got it, I had never cut it off since I first started growing it. But it's a nice clean cut, man. But I just wanted to come to y'all with, some words of encouragement, man. I've had a pretty good talk with my barber today. And I actually wish I would have brought my camera with me because I had the last appointment of the day and it was literally just us two in there. Most times it's at least a couple extra people, so I don't want to always bring the camera and have it set up while there's other people in there trying to get cuts and stuff. But this would have been a perfect time, but I didn't have it with me. So it's times like that where in the past I would have probably allowed that moment to be like me sitting there worrying like, bro, I wish I'd have brought the camera. Like it's a good conversation and I'm not enjoying the moment that God blessed me to be in right now. It's like, if you didn't bring the camera, you didn't bring the camera. You gonna tell them to stop the haircut halfway through so you can go get the camera? So it's times like that where, I thank God for growth in that area of like being anxious about stuff that really you can't change, you feel me? So while I did have a couple of thoughts in the midst of our conversation, like, man, the lighting in here is hitting right now, like nobody's in here, it's just us two. This would have been perfect for me to bring the camera, get our conversation while I'm getting a cut. It was like, it is what it is. Just enjoy this moment God has blessed you to be in. And don't allow yourself to get anxious or be worried or, all of that extra stuff that, again, you can't change that. So just enjoy the moment he's blessed you to be in. But yeah, man, talking to my barber was like, he was giving a lot of encouragement today, you feel me? Just letting me know that he was, proud of how me and my wife went about our relationship and about our marriage and our covenant with God. Yeah, man, really just giving some like truly encouraging words. And I think that's such an important thing on this walk and this journey in this life, is having people around you that can see the growth. Because sometimes we can get down on ourselves and really start to feel like, oh man, like, am I doing enough? Like, am I walking right with God? Like, is this enough? Like, am I doing it how I'm supposed to be doing it? And a lot of times we can look at our progress and we feel like we haven't really done a lot. And really, I think that's because we see ourselves every day. Now, sometimes when you look back, say, okay, I'm looking back 2 years, it's like, okay, I can definitely see where I've grown. But a lot of times, because we're obviously with ourselves every second of every day, sometimes you don't notice the growth as much as people on the outside might. So when he was giving me that encouragement, it was like, it was definitely a reassuring feeling. And I think it's not just important for you to have that support system that sees the growth, just to have some people to clap it up for you or to hype you up like, oh yeah, man, we see you doing good. Like, it's not just to hear it, and it's not just to have a crowd of people just to hype you up and tell you you're doing good. But I think it's just to, really open your eyes to really seeing what God has done in your life versus you criticizing yourself so much. And again, getting so down on yourself like, I don't know if I did this right, or I don't know if I'm doing enough. I don't know if I'm reading enough. I don't know if, does God accept me for what I'm doing here? Like, is this the right thing? I think when you get those encouraging words from that support system around you, it's just like, it's a reassuring feeling. It's definitely an encouraging thing to see when people that have seen you at your lowest, have seen you in the times where you weren't on top of what you were supposed to be on top of, or wasn't walking with God how you're walking with God, seeing that actual gradual change from where you were to where you are now, and we'll never be perfect, you feel me? Our walk with God will never be complete, essentially. Like, there's always something you can learn, always ways you can grow, ways you can be better. A scripture I was reading this morning, I think it was either in Proverbs 9 or Proverbs 10. One of the footnotes for a particular verse was saying that a wise man can never have too much wisdom. So no matter how wise you are, how wise you think you are, you can never have too much wisdom. You can always continue to learn, continue to grow and gain something in this relationship with God. But you just got to seek him. You got to seek him for that wisdom. And I think it's important to even note the fact that anything that you receive on this walk that God pours into you is not for you alone. You know, like, and that was another thing that my barber touched on. He was like, yeah, man, y'all walking with God and y'all making these decisions with God in mind and seeking him first in these things. Trust that it's not just for y'all. And it was a example he gave of when he first accepted Christ and things in his life were changing as far as, you know, him giving up drinking and stuff like that. He was like, yeah, man, it was people that were around me, my friends that were back home, and I would go back home. It was like they would, you know, obviously they don't know that I stopped drinking or that, you know, I accepted Christ and everything like that, and that my lifestyle changed. So when I come back, they're still, you know, hey man, what's going on? Like, you trying to go, you know, grab a 6-pack or whatever the case is. And he's like, hey, actually, I don't do that no more. And he's not condemning them. He's just telling them, hey, I don't do that anymore. But we can still hang out or whatever the case is. And they, you know, a lot of the times he was saying like a lot of them wouldn't come back around. So it's like they would say, oh yeah, I'll be back around later or something like that. And he just wouldn't see him again. So it's like, you know, God really opened his eyes in those moments to see that, you know, these people, even though you might have grew up with them from grade school, essentially they're your like drinking buddies. He was figuring out that some of the people that he, you know, thought were his friends because they had been friends for such a long time were really just around now, at least, just to turn up with him or just to drink with him or to go out to the club with him or something like that. But the other thing that he noted was that in the midst of realizing that, okay, some of these people aren't necessarily here to be an actual friend to me. They're just here because, you know, we can do these things together. They drink, I drink, so we drink together type of thing. You feel me? But he was saying that some of those friends see the transformation that's happening within you. They're watching it. Whether you know it or not, they're watching it. Not that you got to be perfect, but some of them, when they see that initial change, it's like, okay, some look a little different here. Some look, even if I don't know that he gave his life to Christ just yet, some look a little different about him. And then once they do figure that out, whether that's you telling them or whatever the case is, he was like, you know, some of these ones that are your actual friends, your story may be what they need to open up to Christ. It may be, it may not be. Maybe you're just a seed for them, or maybe you're the actual, and not that it's you, is God working through you, but maybe your example is what's going to open them up to even considering Christ. You feel me? And that was one of the points that he kind of drove home to me during our conversation. Was like, everything that you're doing, don't just see it as this is just for you, or yeah, this is just for me to grow closer to God. You know, because there's some friends that may sit back and say, okay, I see something change, but let me wait and see, because I know, you know, people can say that they're making a change and people can, you know, act like they've changed, but it's only for so long before the jig is up. You feel me? Before it turns and it's like, okay, I got a New Year's resolution. That's only going to last but for so long. Give him about 3 months and he'll be back on the same path. And there's some people who might sit back and really wait for that time just to see. Maybe they're not wishing you gonna fall. Maybe they're not hoping for it, but they like, let me see if this for real. You feel me? And once you make it through that time, they see, bro, God is really changing some stuff in his life. Like, it's a lot of different things that are changing in his life that I never even thought I would see this happening with him. You feel me? And that encourages them to say, okay, maybe let me give God a try here. And the example I think that even brought us to that was me telling him about how me and my wife may be running the family business sometime soon. And we would always talk about it like in the years past, because before I even met her, we had an opportunity to run the family business, but we were like, it's a daycare. It's like, I don't really want to do it. That's not really what I'm trying to do. And so we kind of, you know, just looked off that entire opportunity. So much so to the point where my parents were like, okay, that's cool. If y'all don't want to do it, y'all want to do it, ain't gonna force you to do it. So we'll just sell it. We'll get whatever we're gonna get for it. And, you know, that'll be that. Once I met my wife and she ended up coming down here like a year and a half into us dating, she had a skill set that I don't think really any of us had, as far as like she was already savvy as far as like office work and like the paperwork aspect, and she's so personable to be able to talk to each and every parent, and she just has a skill that's like, almost unmatched, I think. You feel me? So when she came in and she was working, it was like, that's what sparked conversations being talked about again about, okay, maybe we can do this thing. And even my parents opening back up to the idea of us running it. And as I was talking to my barber about that, that's what prompted him to say, yeah, God had you on this path. Just to start off, just default, God has this path for you. You were over here doing, you clubbing, you going out, you drinking, you smoking, you doing every other thing. So God never left where he had for you. You veered off. But at some point, you started getting right back, and now you back on that track to where the blessings he already had for you all along, the same way that opportunity was open for us to run the family business, but because my mindset was, I don't really want to, that ain't really for me and this and that. But once this blessing was added, now it opened just a whole different avenue of, okay, now we can come in, we could do it like this, and we can and we can see how this could be a little better, and we can implement some new things. And now it's to the point where the both of us are brainstorming on ways we can make this thing better as time goes on. And that just circles back around to, man, God has a plan and a path for you no matter where you are in this life. Don't ever think that he doesn't. Don't ever forget that he does have a plan for you. It's just a matter of, this is where the plan is. This is where he is. This is the path that he has lit for you. How his word says, let your word be a light unto my path and a lamp unto my feet. Or a lamp under my feet, light unto my path. It's one of, I might be flip-flopping the light and the lamp. But this is where that lamp is. This is where that light is. At some point you veered off over here. He starts drifting you back, and you're right on that path. Those blessings that were there all along are still there waiting for you. But yeah, man, that's really all I wanted to get on here and talk to y'all about. Really just give y'all some encouragement, because I received some encouragement today, you know. But yeah, man, shouts out to my barber. He's really been giving me, like, laying some true wisdom down, like similar to like what my parents do, you feel me? I definitely appreciate him for that, and really God for really laying it on his heart to, you know, be an encouragement. But yeah, man, hopefully y'all enjoyed this one. If y'all got any suggestions for any particular things y'all want us to touch on, definitely drop them in the comments. And my wife will be coming in very soon. Very soon, y'all stay tuned. We haven't introduced her to y'all just yet, but she'll be hopping in on one of these videos very soon. But I hope this word was an encouragement for you. And keep God first, man. Keep God first. That's all I got to say. Like I said, we'll catch y'all in the next one.